Next up in our Shacknews Awards deliberations is the biggest surprise of 2020. This should be interesting. There was a lot of surprises out there.
Yeah.
For a year where we all had to stay home, a lot of shit happened.
Yeah, and for a year with no like E3 press conferences, I mean, we had like the digital showcases, but none of those traditional shows where we usually get those pops.
I mean, I guess, do I get the ball rolling with, so where did Among Us come from? Like,
right?
How did this become such a big thing? Where did this start? How did a 2-year-old game blow up the way it did?
Streaming, man. I think it first started to pick up in like July, and then by like the end of August, getting into September, it was just like...
I believe some very popular Korean streamers streamed it, and it started popping off in Asia, and then some American streamers decided to pick it up, and
now it's so big that American politicians are playing it on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody could have.
And Canadian politicians. Yeah, Jagmeet Singh and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez
We're
playing
bridging
together.
International politics with this game.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
It's
I don't
shocking.
know. It's a game about treachery and lying. It really doesn't shock me that politicians are playing it.
I don't know. If you watch AOC stream it, it's adorable.
No, she's adorable. I stand for AOC, like, definitely.
She's my favorite streamer.
Yeah,
by far.
I mean, I think maybe like that AOC and Among Us, like, honestly might be the biggest.
I have AOC down as person of the year, but we can talk about that later for sure. But like,
yeah, Among Us is definitely a surprise, and it was like a juggernaut that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
yeah.
I love it though. It's such a great story because like you had this game, it had maybe 300 people concurrently playing it at the beginning of the year. And the devs were already working on the next game, you know, like they had kind of given up on this thing. And then out of nowhere, it goes to like 3 million concurrents in 2 months.
But they're like, I guess we don't need to make a sequel right now. I mean, I guess we can kind of ride this for a while.
Doesn't that have to sort of be the definition of a surprise when it's so surprising that the developers are surprised and have to stop doing what they're doing to go back and address the surprise?
Yeah.
Like, they were shocked. It's not even just people. Like, the developers were.
Well, let me tell you about another surprise that came out this year. Super Mario Maker 2!
Oh, man.
World Maker.
World Maker.
That was pretty great.
I'm not going to be able to get to shout about that game much this year. So, yeah.
But this is a good place to shout about it because do you remember that when that video came out, Asif, and they're just like, you know what? We're just gonna give you everything.
Yeah.
Here's everything you want, and after everything, here's World Maker.
Yeah, no,
Go nuts.
That's by far the best update they've ever done to a Super Mario Maker game. There's things about World Maker that I don't love, but the actual surprise announcement was outstanding. They did say it was like the final update for the game, which is always kind of ominous.
They packed like 3 updates in one. It felt like.
Yeah. But yeah, it was great. You know, that was that time period where it was like Nintendo was like, you know what? Screw E3. We're not doing it. We're just gonna put everything out in April and then forget about summer.
I mean,
it was the right move. I mean, like Super Mario Maker 2 at the heart of the pandemic. Man, that was great. That was a great update, and it invigorated the community.
If we're gonna talk like big surprises in Nintendo, I think like Animal Crossing getting like an entire generation through a global pandemic.
It's a great story.
Yeah, like that's pretty incredible. Like that's noteworthy. I didn't even play Animal Crossing, but I mean, it seemed like it came out right at a time where it made the perfect coping mechanism for people. Because you can't really go and do anything right now. So it was like, we can virtually go outside and make friends with like animal people and build a tiny island and kind of focus on that for hours on end if you want to or need to, I guess.
My one case against that would be if I had to pick any game in the world that would get us through a pandemic, I would have said, you know what, it's going to be Animal Crossing. That did not surprise me too much. Not the way Among Us did.
And it's like super important for bringing people together. Like, you can play online with friends. They can visit your island and whatever. So at a time where we were all really forced to be socially distant, I think that game came out at the perfect time. I don't know if it's the biggest surprise to me. I don't know if you folks know. Like, anytime there was Animal Crossing New Horizons news, like, I was losing my shit.
I have a dark horse for this category, and I know that Ozzy will agree with me once I make my case. You see, like, to me, Among Us had, like, it started coming into the highlights through, like, streamers bringing it up, and then AOC brought it to another tier. Things like Animal Crossing, like, yeah, it was surprising how much it sold, but, like, also the pandemic helped boost it. But you know what came out of nowhere, and there was no reason for it to exist, and then it did exist, and it was like, what? New Pokemon Snap announcement.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about this.
That was absolutely
that was a good surprise, yeah.
It killed it stopped the internet for a day. I was just, I was so excited about that.
A lot of the reactions on that, 'cause I remember going back and watching a few where, like, because it was during like one of their Pokemon Directs where they made a few Pokemon announcements, and it's like, it just starts off, you're like in the wilderness, and you're like, all right, what's this? Like, you think it's gonna be another like Pokemon Teeth, and then like the camera lens pops up, and then it's like that oh shit moment when you're like, it's Pokemon Snap, like they're finally doing it after people begging for it for.
Oh my God, Donovan wasn't even born when the first Pokemon Snap came out. That's how long we've been waiting for this.
But it wasn't very good.
Here's the
there, I said it.
All right,
Pokemon Snap wasn't good.
It's not good.
Overruled.
It wasn't good. It was not good.
Wow. Whoa. Shots fired.
It wasn't good.
Damn,
It's
Austin.
a bad game.
Your background is almost as much of a hot take as that statement.
It's not even a hot take.
Yes, it is.
If it wasn't so good, then why did Bugsnax use it as an inspiration?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because you do more than Bugsnax and just take pictures.
And
Like,
you're probably
much
much
more.
more in this new
than
Pokemon
that.
Snap than take pictures.
You can play like 30 minutes of Bugsnax and you can see the Pokemon Snap inspiration.
Oh,
there.
So,
no question.
By the way, that might have sold me on Bugsnax.
I'm just saying that, like, an N64 on rails game with Pokemon and a camera,
Yeah.
it's not that fun. Go play it. Go play it in 2020 and tell me it's a fun game. It's not.
I had
It has
fun with it.
elements of genius in it, but it is not a good game.
Well, we're not trying to nominate Pokemon Snap for.
I know, but I'm explaining why I wasn't like, oh my God, what an amazing announcement.
I played it in 2015 on Wii U. It still held up for me.
Okay, fair enough, Ozzy.
I can tell you from a perspective when that game came out, like, you don't understand, like, people were so desperate for Pokemon shit because it exploded. So, like, it wasn't intentional. It was like, kind of like an accident. So there was like nothing. There were no action figures. There were barely any toys. There was only the Game Boy game. So when you got a 3D Pokemon game, like, everyone rushed to get it, thought it was the best thing since sliced bread because they desperately wanted anything.
That's all I have to say.
So those are rose-tinted glasses, I can tell you right
Hey,
now.
you Pikachu. That's all I have to say about that, Greg.
So bad.
Hey,
That game's also bad.
We don't talk about Hey You Pikachu.
Other surprises though. Minecraft Steve and Smash. I don't know if that's that surprising.
I was pretty surprised by it.
I was surprised that they actually did it, but it was one that I
been
probably
rumored.
would
And I
guess.
was surprised that they made it work.
Yeah.
Like the way they implemented him into the game. The fact that they had to rebuild the entire game to make him work. That was a surprising part to me.
That direct was awesome.
Yes. That was amazing.
That was an excellent direct.
I love the reveal. The Smash reveals are so good.
I think a case could be made that you just, like, we just talked about like 5 things Nintendo did. I think you could just make a case that Nintendo could win this category for everything they announced.
Well, it's at the core of what they do. They try to surprise and delight their fans with cease and desist letters. But
They pulled
no.
a lot out of the hat.
Yeah, we're talking about like the stuff that wasn't even good enough to be nominated. Like when Nintendo announced Hyrule Warriors, like nobody was expecting that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Well,
It's barely a
because
drop.
the first one sucked, so no one was expecting it.
Ouch.
Oh, whoa.
Here we go.
We're bringing more hot
Whoa.
takes.
More hot take.
This is the hot
I
take.
mean,
This is the hot take. Yeah, that's what we do.
I think we've got it on here already in our nominees, but I think Microsoft buying Bethesda was pretty surprising. Just as far
Yes.
as news that I just wasn't expecting to happen. Like I didn't hear anybody predicting that, and I mean, of course, it's one that we won't really see the like ramifications for another year or two. But I thought that was a pretty.
I think, yeah.
We're seeing a minor ramification to it because I'm
Yeah.
looking at like what's coming to Game Pass this month, and
Yeah,
Doom
yeah.
Eternal coming to PC Game Pass is a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
just
huge
as far
deal,
as
yeah.
just as far as like how I don't know Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 shake out, that we won't really get to see that for a while.
I think the
Yeah.
specifics are surprising, but the idea that Microsoft is just buying shit all over the place does not surprise me.
I was not surprised at all to see Microsoft buying shit. It's
I mean, I'm not
you know,
surprised
the
to see
real surprise
Microsoft
is if they
buying
don't
stuff,
fuck it up.
but
If they don't fuck it
Yeah.
up, that's the surprise.
I
Next
think
year.
it's I think it's a surprise that Microsoft is buying shit, but I think it's a surprise that Microsoft was able to acquire such a large piece of the
Yeah.
gaming industry. Like Bethesda is a huge piece of the
Bethesda
gaming
got it
industry.
Microsoft's
down.
massive. They're like
Yeah, I know,
almost two
Yeah,
but
but
like it's still
Bethesda's-
huge to see like someone like Microsoft that has such a heavy emphasis on like their own console and stuff like that take control of such a big asset.
Yeah,
with
like
such,
Microsoft
with such
buying.
beloved IPs, because that's what people get on Microsoft for, is not having IPs. So for them to buy, which probably is the biggest studio acquisition to date, the studio that has Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, which is kind of like a big.
Yeah, like Microsoft buying Obsidian, not surprising. Microsoft buying Bethesda, that's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's like, what just
Yeah.
happened here?
I love
just-
that Mike Tyson meme of like he's holding two pigeons together to kiss, and it's like Obsidian,
Oh, Obsidian.
Bethesda, Fallout, New Vegas 2.
I think that move also like altered the next gen conversation for a lot of people when it was like, well,
Yeah.
we know Sony's gonna have Spider-Man, they're gonna have like God of War, but Microsoft buying Bethesda, like whether they do it or not is up to them, but it's potential that they can make an Elder Scrolls game exclusive, they can make a Fallout game or a Doom game exclusive to Xbox. Just the
Yeah.
fact that that's possible now is pretty huge.
Yeah, I think to me too, like it's just to me like something like Microsoft buying a huge company like Bethesda is bigger than Among Us, but I guess that's because like before Among Us kind of shot up on Twitch, like I was watching smaller Twitch streamers play it and I was watching YouTubers play it for months and months before like, you know, people like Ninja and stuff started getting in on it. So it was already kind of growing, but then it just kind of made a larger leap than it would have without those Twitch streamers. So I guess to me, like it wasn't a huge surprise to see it kind of get its time in the spotlight because I had seen it growing up. But yeah, Microsoft buying Bethesda I think is a huge deal, but I also don't think it's the biggest surprise of the year either. So
Well, what do you think the biggest surprise of the year is then?
I think the biggest surprise of the year will be if Cyberpunk 2077 actually releases on December 10th.
Do you think it's going to be like a surprise game delay announcement at the Game Awards?
I don't know.
December 10.
I don't know,
Exclusive
man. Like
announcement.
Exclusive.
it's just like, every time we get close to this game coming out, it gets pushed back again. So I think I think a lot of people are still expecting it to get pushed back again.
Here's a hot take.
It's an idea.
know.
so
You want a hot take?
I doubt that game gets pushed.
You want a hot take about Cyberpunk? That
Your
many
hot take.
delays?
It might not be that good.
Might not be good. Just saying.
I'm open to it not being good.
I'm with Josh on this.
People are
I put
controversial.
Cyberpunk delayed. It's like it's going to be delayed. It's not going to come out on December 10th. It's going to be delayed again.
I don't think that
that's
it
happening.
won't be a surprise if it gets delayed. It'll be a surprise if it doesn't get delayed.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's just my opinion.
The
Just,
surprise
you know.
is that it releases.
yeah, that's,
Cyberpunk
So what you're saying is
2077
we can't
actually
even
comes
vote on
out in
this right now.
2020. Yeah.
Good
All right,
lord.
this one probably won't win, but one I want to put out there was Persona 4 Golden coming out on PC just out of the blue, announced at the PC Gaming Show, just because there's still such a fan base for that game, and the only place you could have played it before that day was on Vita. It was the last reason to own a PS Vita, and then just out of nowhere at the PC Gaming Show, they're like, "Hey, it's on Steam. It's on Steam right now." So, you know, good on the Persona community. There was no expectation for it because everyone was so focused on 5 and what's going to happen with 5 and 5 coming to Switch or whatever else. But cool that Persona 4 Golden is on PC right now, and you can pick it up.
For sure.
Nobody. I'm on an island on that. Cool.
I don't.
Sorry, Auntie.
Persona.
I mean, it was definitely a surprise announcement, and it was like kind of WTF, but I don't know.
It's not the first game we've seen like get revealed out of nowhere and then be like, oh, it's out now, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that. I want more announcements like that.
All right, then how about one that probably might have a chance to win? That's Epic and Apple fighting to the death over Fortnite.
Not surprised by this at all.
I'm not
Tim
surprised that
had a keynote at DICE where he gave like step-by-step reasons for why this is even happening. Like at DICE, his keynote, go back and watch it. He laid out every reason why this is happening. And then it happened, right? So I wasn't surprised at all. I think it's definitely the escalation of it is surprising. That the idea that a billionaire, Tim Sweeney, would sacrifice the amount of revenue that he gets on iOS for a principled stand is interesting. Like, he could continue to give Apple their cut, right? Or he could have gone the Bandcamp route and put a website up for buying V-Bucks on mobile, right? So you kind of go around the App Store that way. There were solutions that they could have done outside of just straight up suing Apple. Yeah. So I do think that how intense the legal battle has gotten is surprising.
The most surprising thing about that was how hard Fortnite out-cringed itself by making that.
Oh god!
That stupid ad.
Hashtag free Fortnite. God, fuck off.
Seriously, and like, how premeditated was the whole thing? If you had an in-game trailer ready to drop.
Extremely.
They had a skin too. You could buy.
Yeah.
They had
Evil Apple.
They had a Fortnite competitive series tournament called the Free Fortnite Cup, like that weekend.
Yeah.
This thing was so premeditated, and then Tim Sweeney, like 2 weeks ago, likens their fight against Apple to the fucking civil rights movement.
Yeah.
No.
He did.
I missed that.
Yeah, he did.
He did. It was something along the lines of like those people, what they were doing was illegal, but they knew it was right, and then we're in a similar situation or something.
That's
some stupid shit he said.
Hey, if anybody knows about that, it's the billion-dollar company making money off Fortnite. Okay, the really
billionaire white man.
Well, it's hard to like either player in this battle.
That's what I was saying. People were like, "Who's right? Who's wrong?" I'm like, "Screw both of them. I don't care."
Like, honestly, it's. Tim Sweeney's in the right here. Apple is overcharging. Mm-hmm. And that's why they recently lowered the fees on smaller devs, right? So now it's a 15% cut. He wasn't wrong there. It was an arbitrary amount. But to act like Epic Games is struggling is just bullshit. And that's where he's the hardest person to support in this fight. But at his core, I agree with him, and I think Apple is wrong, and I think Apple is anti-competitive. But Steve Jobs laid it out in 2010 at a All Things D interview. He's like, look, we have a curated store called the App Store, but we also have HTML5 on Safari, and it's the Wild West. You can watch porn on Safari, you can do all sorts of things that are against the terms of service of the App Store, right? I feel like that's really what their defense is going to be in this. And I even tweeted at Tim Sweeney about it. I was like, why don't you just go the Bandcamp route? And he said, it's a worse user experience for our players.
Can you tell me more about this porn on Safari?
That's the takeaway.
Google that shit. All I'm saying is it's a completely uncurated platform that exists on all iOS devices. And any phone, right? So I just think it's the argument that the App Store precludes whatever Tim Sweeney is saying is false. But it's not wrong that they could take less money, and that's where I think it's a weird conversation. But I don't think it's a surprise. I saw this coming.
Yeah, I mean, like that story earlier this year that Apple was making a backroom deal with Amazon about Prime Video for a lower rate was like a spit in the eye of every single company that has paid them 30% for years.
Yeah, but no, I wouldn't call that a surprise.
Yeah, well, they push that bullshit rhetoric of everything is fair on Apple. Everyone gets the same rate. Yeah.
Oh, jeez, that whole thing.
Oh, I see Demon Souls not on PC. That's not a surprise.
No. So when the card came up and it said not available on other consoles for a limited time, also available on PC, and everyone lost their shit, and then they redacted. And I think that's like the biggest fuck you to people who were like, "Oh my god, it's coming on PC! This is so exciting!" And then after the announcement, they redacted.
That's the inverse of a surprise.
Them saying that was a mistake, just. To this day, I can't really make sense.
How does that even happen?
Yeah, I don't know how that
watch the video.
Somebody got fired. Somebody got fired.
They also did it multiple other times.
Yeah,
they did it with Final Fantasy, didn't they?
That was the PS5 reveal. They did it with Final Fantasy 16. They did it with Demon Souls. Like, it's just no one watched that video before it went live.
I'm like, how many people watched this thing from front to back several times before we see it? Apparently, not that many.
Like nobody. It came in hot like the Shacknews Direct, Craig.
Oh my god, that's so weird to me to have a statement like that and then like redact it. It's just so that's kind of surprising to me. You're like, oh cool, PC, and then of course because news sites have to be on it, you're first, you're last, right? So everyone's reporting it. Demon Souls confirmed on PC, and then they redact it at like literally 45 minutes later. Like it's really sucks.
Within seconds. Of the conference ending, they had Jeff Keighley giving out the actual info people wanted on all those games that they could have easily included in the video presentation, like announcing the release dates for all that stuff.
Not to mention, pre-orders went live like 2.5 hours after the conference, even though they weren't supposed to go until the next morning.
Oh yeah,
just to rub some salt. Just to rub some salt.
Give them shit show of the year.
How much does Sony pay Jeff Keighley to do journalism? That's what I want to know.
Do the journalism, Jeff Keighley. Here's $5.
Here, Jeff Keighley, have a controller review it. Thanks. How much are you going to pay me to check out this controller exclusively? Oh, we'll give you $50,000. Okay, sounds good.
Overruled, Greg. Jeff Keighley has high journalistic standards.
Does he?
Yes.
I don't know about that. I want to just vote for Nintendo's like general bouquet. Their bouquet of surprises throughout the year.
Nintendo's bouquet of surprises.
Yes.
I will say Among Us coming out of the blue, becoming a phenomenon.
Among Us.
I'll say Among Us.
Greg with Among Us.
Yeah, I'm also Among Us.
Bill, you're saying Among Us?
Yes, sir.
I am not. I'm gonna say. I mean, you know what? I guess I will. I was thinking the Bethesda thing was kind of a what the fuck moment.
I'm sticking to my guns. Pokemon Snap new Pokemon Snap has no reason to exist, and now it does.
Pokemon Snap from TJ. Okay. Pretty sure.
Biggest
David.
Surprise. People think Pokemon Snap was good.
Okay. Steve.
How dare you?
Got him!
You like bad games.
Steve,
too,
do you
Craig.
got a vote?
Yeah, I'm going for Among Us also.
Steve's going for Among Us also. It's looking like Among Us might win here. Sam?
I gotta go for Microsoft buying Bethesda.
Bethesda? Yeah.
Yeah, that is
What
huge.
the fuck moment. Are you with me, Sam, that they should just scrap Infinite and make a new Halo in the id Tech engine?
Sam is not going to be with you on that.
It means I might have to wait longer for a new Halo game, mate. I don't know. Just keep.
Yeah, but it'll be good.
That's a conversation for another day. But
but
a Halo spin-off in the id Tech engine would be
right.
I'll just say that even a bad Halo game, I still have some semblance of fun in it.
Pretty much any chance I get to put this thought out into the universe, I'm going to, Ozzy. Because I want that so badly. Like, do something smart with your acquisition, Microsoft. Okay, Chris.
I'll vote Microsoft buying Bethesda.
Okay.
I feel like he's gonna be close.
I'll go Microsoft buying Bethesda. Let's make this interesting.
Yeah, mate.
Josh?
Wild card,
Microsoft
baby.
Buying Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Boom.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, Bethesda.
All right.
So the biggest surprise of 2020 was Microsoft buying Bethesda.